Most people spend their entire lives waiting for motivation, waiting for confidence, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for life to somehow change on its own. And while they wait, years disappear, dreams fade, potential dies quietly, and deep inside, they begin to feel something dangerous: regret. Because the truth is, almost nobody truly lacks potential. What most people lack is mental strength. The ability to continue when emotions say stop. The ability to stay calm when life becomes uncertain. The ability to endure discomfort long enough for transformation to happen. That is why the Stoic mindset is so powerful. Because Stoicism is not simply philosophy. It is psychological armor, a way of thinking that allows a human being to remain steady in a chaotic world. And today, that ability has become rare. Modern society constantly attacks your attention. From the moment you wake up, your focus belongs to the world. Notifications, entertainment, comparison, scrolling, noise. Most people never spend time alone with their own thoughts anymore. Silence feels uncomfortable to them. Stillness feels unnatural. And because of that, they never truly understand themselves. The Stoics understood something the modern world forgot. A distracted mind becomes a weak mind. If you cannot control your attention, you cannot control your life. That is why discipline matters so deeply. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your mind becomes stronger. And every time you betray yourself, your confidence quietly weakens. This is why so many people feel lost. Not because they are incapable, but because deep inside, they no longer trust themselves. They say they will wake up early, then they don't. They say they will work hard, then they procrastinate. They say they want greatness, but their habits move in the opposite direction. Over time, this creates internal conflict. One part of the mind desires success. The other part desires comfort. And comfort usually wins, because comfort is seductive. Comfort whispers, rest today, start tomorrow. You deserve a break. There's still time. But years later, many people realize they traded their future for temporary comfort. The Stoic rejects this trap, not because Stoics hate pleasure, but because they understand something deeper. A life ruled by comfort eventually creates weakness, and weakness creates suffering. Real growth begins when a person becomes comfortable with discomfort, because transformation lives inside difficulty, inside sacrifice, inside repetition. Most people want confidence before action, but confidence is created by action. Nobody feels fully ready in the beginning. Nobody feels fearless. Even strong people experience doubt. The difference is that disciplined individuals act despite doubt. That is true courage. Not the absence of fear, but movement despite fear. Modern culture has romanticized motivation, but motivation is unreliable. Some days you will feel inspired. Other days you will feel empty. If your life depends on motivation, you will remain inconsistent forever. Stoicism teaches something far more powerful. Do what must be done regardless of emotion. Because emotions constantly change, but principles remain. A disciplined person understands. Feelings are temporary. Purpose is permanent. And eventually, this changes everything. You stop asking, do I feel like doing it? And you start asking, who do I want to become? That question changes a human being, because every repeated action shapes identity. Every habit becomes part of your character, and character is built in private, not in public. This is something modern society misunderstands completely. People are obsessed with appearing successful. They want recognition before mastery. attention before discipline, results before sacrifice. But real success is quiet in the beginning. Very quiet. For a long time, nothing happens. No applause, no validation, no visible reward. Just effort, repeated daily effort. And this is exactly where most people quit. The Stoics understood something most people avoid. Suffering is unavoidable. Pain is part of life. Loss is part of life. Uncertainty is part of life. Nobody escapes difficulty. The question is not whether suffering will appear. The question is, what will suffering turn you into? Some people become bitter. Others become stronger. Pain reveals character. Pressure reveals truth. And often, the hardest seasons of life shape us the most. Because struggle forces growth. Without resistance, there is no strength. Without difficulty, there is no transformation. Mentally strong people stop asking, why is this happening to me? Instead, they ask, what is this teaching me? That single shift in perspective changes everything. Failure becomes information. Difficulty becomes preparation. Obstacles become training. The Stoic mind sees hardship differently. Where others see punishment, the Stoic sees opportunity. And eventually, this creates emotional resilience, a calmness that cannot easily be shaken. Because one of the deepest forms of power is emotional control, not suppressing emotion, mastering it. Most people are controlled entirely by emotional reaction. If life goes well, they feel strong. If life becomes difficult, they collapse mentally. Their inner peace depends completely on external circumstances. But the Stoic develops stability from within, a steady mind, a grounded spirit, the ability to remain composed under pressure, and in a chaotic world, calmness becomes a superpower. The Stoics valued solitude, not loneliness. Solitude, time alone with your thoughts, without distraction, without noise, without constant stimulation, because silence reveals truth. In silence, you confront yourself, your fears, your excuses, your habits, your potential. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding themselves. The Stoic chooses self-awareness instead, because awareness creates change. And perhaps the deepest Stoic principle of all is detachment. Not detachment from life, detachment from obsession, from needing control over everything, from depending emotionally on outcomes. Many people suffer because they tie their peace to external things. Money, approval, status, recognition, results. But external things are unstable. They can disappear at any moment. The Stoic understands this deeply. That is why true peace comes from within, from character, from discipline, from integrity, from knowing that regardless of what happens externally, you still control your actions. And that realization creates freedom, real freedom. Because when a person no longer depends entirely on external validation, they become mentally unbreakable. Not because life becomes easier, but because they become stronger. And ultimately, that is the true purpose of the Stoic mindset. Not perfection, strength, not arrogance, control, not emotionlessness, wisdom, to remain steady in difficult times, to continue moving despite uncertainty, to stay disciplined without applause, to maintain dignity under pressure. In the end, real success is not mastery over the world. It is mastery over yourself, your mind, your habits, your impulses, your emotions. Because a person who masters themselves can build almost anything. So move quietly, build patiently, strengthen your mind daily. Stop chasing comfort. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop depending on perfect conditions. Life will never become easier, but you can become stronger. And once your mind becomes stronger, the world begins to feel different, calmer, clearer, more controllable. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Now it is your turn to understand it too.